What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat, a proud member of the CLNS Media Network. Make sure to hit subscribe to the Pat's Chat YouTube channel, to Patriots Press Pass, and turn on notifications for when a new video drops on the channel. Michael,
Doug.
the Patriots finally lost a game. It had been a very, 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 very long time. I don't know if that was 10 varies, but it's been a very long time.
Boy, did they ever. Yeah, their first loss, they had a run going where they had lost. The Red Sox had lost more recently than they had. So
Wow.
that streak is over. But yeah, good thing we didn't do a podcast at halftime. You know,
Right.
that'd
That
be a
would have been a
delete,
bad idea because I
instant
would have said
delete.
that the Patriots win streak was still going and
Yeah.
that they were going to win the game, but they didn't. Do you want me to come out firing with the take?
Yeah, if you're asking, I know something's coming. So yeah.
All right, this might be dumb. Tell me if I'm being dumb. Tell me if
All
I'm
right.
being some silly New Englander.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think this was good for the team.
Hmm.
I think that the hype
Hmm.
would have gotten so extreme
Hmm.
if they had beaten the Bills like 45-7 or whatever they were on pace for at that time.
24-7. So it would have been
48 to
48
14.
to 14. Yeah.
I think it would have been Super Bowl or bust. I think
Hmm.
people's expectations might have even grown too high if they had
Hmm.
destroyed the Bills. I think the Patriots themselves might have gotten a little bit too high themselves because at that point, if you destroy the Bills and you're riding an 11-game winning streak, I don't think there's really any humble pie that you can take a piece out of.
Hmm.
Um, and honestly, it kind of felt like the Patriots felt the same way in the locker room. They didn't seem too down on themselves. I was even shocked by how calm and I don't know if Mike Vrabel was happy after the game, but he didn't seem pissed off after the game,
Hmm.
which surprised me. So I don't know. It felt like they didn't think this was a
Yeah.
disaster,
So
and I
no,
think that it it allows them to kind of maintain what they've maintained for the last 10 weeks because I do think there was the potential that they could have gotten too high if they had won, especially in decisive fashion.
so you're not dumb in this one. So good for you. And I think the reason I feel like if there is a playoff rematch, I don't hate the Patriots' chances in that game.
Right.
So ultimately, there will be some benefits from this. Where it's murky and where perhaps you feel a little unsteady is just how bad the second half was and how it showed. I think the opposite stupid of what you're saying is they suck and they can't do anything and they'll never win anything, which I saw plenty of on Twitter and everything throughout the day. So
Yeah. Fans took this very, very, very hard.
yeah,
Some did.
well, it was bad. So for as
Yeah.
dominant as that first half was, it's 24-7 at halftime. The second half was 28-7 the other way. So
Right.
for the first half wasn't as good as the second half was bad in terms of just pure dominance.
Statistically, you're right.
Yeah, in that second half, outside of a broken play going for 65 yards for a touchdown, they
Right.
had the Patriots had 15 yards on 5 drives.
It was
It's
really bad. I will get into that and we'll get into the reasons for it and
Yeah.
everything.
But so that's
But
the reason
yeah,
why I do think your take is maybe a little too rosy in that it wasn't as if they went into a slugfest and, what are you going to do, Josh Allen? It's like you collapsed. I
they
think there was
did.
a choke element in this one that makes it hard to really buy into that.
If so, here's the question. And maybe this question doesn't even matter. But what was more fluky? Their dominant first half or the complete collapse in the second half?
Oh, well, was there were there flukes on their side in the first half? It feels like so long ago.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like Keyshawn Booty's catch probably. I would
Might
say
have
the
been a
booty
little
catch,
fluky.
the
But
booty
like
catch not getting overturned, and then the Brandon Cooks catch getting overturned, I guess was a little fluky. Because let's say
right.
that catch, like there's a case to be made that Cooks had the ball pinned to his chest with his right foot down before. Like let's
Mhm.
say that the catch stood.
Yeah.
Um, Different first half, I think, to a certain degree. So
Right.
there's a fluke there. Second half, you had some bad officiating, I think we can say.
We'll get into that.
But I'm just stuck on so many like third and fours, no pressure,
Yeah.
no man coverage, just guys open in the middle of the field, guys getting beat. I didn't think it was that fluky despite some of
Well, I
those
think
elements.
fluky based on how the last 10 games have gone. Like, were you that shocked by the fact that the Patriots looked that good in the first half? Not really.
Yeah.
I was much more shocked by how bad they looked in the second half based on what we've seen so far.
I think what the weirdest thing about their 10-game win streak is they had blips along the way. Like the Bengals game was not a
Yep.
good game front to back. The Falcons second half or right before halftime to the end of the game was not good.
Even the Giants
This
game on Monday night
yeah, the
was
second half.
pretty similar to this game,
Yep.
except they were playing a worse team.
Exactly. And another one there, the Saints, was some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in my life. They took a 70-yard touchdown away for a phantom OPI away from the play. They overcame all those things. Like it didn't crush them.
Right.
I think the what we would expect is against better competition. When you're not facing
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, when you're not facing the Saints, it's going to bite you, and it did today. But despite all that, that's like sort of one story. The other is you get the ball twice in the fourth quarter with a chance to win, and you just lay 2 eggs. And I think that's what's going to stink this week
Yeah.
as you move forward.
I think it's obviously not concerning that in Drake May's not even full second season, he hasn't manufactured a fourth quarter comeback because for like that entire 10-game winning streak, they didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
He could have done it in the 2 losses early in the season, and he had ample opportunities in this game. And I don't know. I don't know what level of concern the final drive gives you, but it certainly wasn't clutch.
It
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't like, all right, this is like you can trust this guy now every single game. They're down a score, 2.5 minutes left. He's gonna drive you down the field and score.
So
It wasn't even close. It was 4 plays. They picked up 5 yards on it.
I know you're a burgeoning golf guy, so you're not
Mm,
hip with all the terms. There's such a thing as a two-way miss in your swing,
mm.
and that's you're slicing it and you're hooking it. You don't know what it's off the tee. You don't know which way it's going to go. And I think the Patriots right now, they're what's kind of hurting them in that element. They got a two-way miss in that they don't have those comebacks. I mean, this was one of their only opportunities. They're also bad playing with the lead. And Drake
They
May
are.
said that after the game. We got to be better at
Yeah.
playing with the lead. And it's like, that's not something, I don't know about you. I don't think about that too often when I think about football teams. Like, how do
Right.
you play when you're up 24/7? But that being said, I think I would have sat here if we did a halftime podcast and be like, wow, what a week from Josh McDaniels. And now instead I'm sitting here saying, is Josh McDaniels okay? Like what was going on in that second half? So
Yeah. It feels like Josh McDaniels, when they get a lead, just takes out a completely different playbook and just
yeah,
completely changes the philosophy. It's weird because it's like everything that was working, he goes away from. And it's not even that he gets more conservative. Like they were running the ball really well in the first half. And they had like 1 running play or something like that. They had barely any running plays in the second half. I think 1 running play in the third quarter, barely any in the fourth quarter. Yeah, just it really they don't know how to play with a lead.
which
And
is
maybe that's
strange.
something that Josh McDaniels needs to learn how to do is like play with a lead without Tom Brady because that is different with other quarterbacks.
I guess so. But yeah, that quote where it's like, man, really? I don't know. I
Right.
just I watch a lot of football. I watched a lot of football today. I watched a lot of the 4 p.m. window. You have to play all 60 minutes. Like these games, like it's weird to do act otherwise, no matter what the score is.
Right.
Like I just watched Rams Lions. No one's playing defense in that game. You have to call 60 minutes of
Yeah.
offense. I don't know a scenario outside of 6 minutes left. You're up 2 scores. You got to try to get 2 first downs and drain clock. I don't know why you would change anything with the way it was going.
No, it's true. I would also argue, this is like an even rosier way of looking at things, which I feel like I'm usually not that rosy.
Hmm.
All things considered, based on how other things went in the NFL, Patriots really didn't have that bad of a day. The Chiefs lost their starting quarterback to a torn ACL. Micah Parsons, I think people are tweeting that he's
Yeah,
got a torn
it
ACL.
looked like it.
Devontae Adams had a
Hamstring.
bad hamstring injury.
Youch.
Like good players were just dropping like flies, and like at least the Patriots got out of this one unscathed injury wise.
I guess so. Yeah, it is that time of year. Like I was watching when Devontae Adams pulled up,
Yeah.
and you're like, these seasons are long, man. The
Yeah.
seasons are long, and Mahomes was sort of at the end. It's crazy that Mahomes having a torn ACL is kind of like a small headline.
It is because they're out of the playoffs.
Any other moment of the past 8 years that would have been explosive. Like it would have been like Brady in 08, but now it's kind of like, what a tough way for that season to end.
Can I tell you something real quick?
No.
Uh, so some point last week, I put $10 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. It was plus 6,000.
Damn.
I'm standing in line watching for the elevator, watching on TV. Patrick Mahomes is grasping the back of his knee, and I quickly went to a betting app, and I cashed out and got $9 back. So I only lost $1.
You got to love the fast acting Tenactin when it comes to that. So plus 6,000 it was?
It's plus 6,000, yeah.
So you would have won $6,000 on that?
No, 600.
On $10 bet?
$10 bet, 600.
No, you multiplied
100.
Yeah, but you'd multiply 10 by 600.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right. They were 6 and 7.
I thought it was only 600.
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't 6. Maybe it was plus 6. No, it wouldn't have been plus 600.
Yeah, well, this is two guys.
I think it was plus 6,000.
Yeah, then you would have been a rich man, but it's not going to happen anyways.
They didn't win. They didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess
Spoiler
that is.
Alert.
You're full of glass half full stuff today. So I think you've probably emptied all of that out.
So do you want to talk about officiating?
Yeah. So seven penalties for 65 on the Patriots, 2 for 15 on the Bills. Now, one of the Bills was a false start, and 2 of the Patriots was a false start. So really, in terms of judgment calls, you have 5 versus 1, which is eyebrow raising at the least. Like Craig Woodson's defensive holding penalty, it was a holding penalty, but it wasn't the only instance of holding in the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's odd that it went 5-1 Patriots versus Bills.
It was. I actually think it's tough to say. I think possibly the worst flag of the day might have been the Carlton Davis pass interference.
Yeah.
Because he just was barely holding onto the back. It
was a little grab, the way that,
such
your
minimal
hands
contact.
The way your hands tense up when you're doing something.
Yeah.
Like there was no pulling, there was no twisting. The ref just saw him grab a handful of jersey, and while Keon Coleman was sort of reaching out,
it was a late flag though too.
It was really late. They said it was stuck in his belt. It's like, well, maybe that was God kind of saying something. But I know circumstance shouldn't have a say in it. But on a third down incompletion, that's just a bailout flag. And to me, that one was probably the worst. I'd agree with you there.
The Marcus Jones fiasco. One though, so that's a whole different level of bad. Where
it was like clown car. It was like just.
Did you see the picture I tweeted out?
Yes, but
So Marcus Jones caught the ball, and as Marcus Jones is catching the ball, Khalil Shakir has one hand on the back of Marcus Jones' helmet and one hand on Marcus Jones' arm.
Yeah,
he is not catching the ball.
No, but when he fell, it was sitting on his penis area, so it never hit the ground. But I don't think he ever grabbed it.
Right.
And so they gave him the simultaneous possession. It's like, that wasn't simultaneous possession.
Yeah.
That was an interception. I think Jones basically used the body of the receiver to obtain it, but the receiver never possessed it.
No. And so on that one, given the fact that the officials did not know that Marcus Jones caught the ball, I could perhaps see them saying it was pass interference, because Marcus Jones also didn't look completely back, but knowing that he caught the ball, it should not be pass interference because he's just going for the ball.
Yeah. It's tough when the receiver comes back. I would say that's called more often than it's not.
But in that scenario, truly, if Marcus Jones wants to catch the football, which he's allowed to do.
Sure. He's allowed to.
What would he have done differently on that play?
I would say like a jump turn and catch it with his body rather than sort of occupy the receiver's body.
I guess, but if you're a wide receiver and you do that exact same thing, that's not an OPI.
Oh, well, I mean, that was another, like the OPI. It's a different world if you're evaluating OPI, but I know it is. But I think a lot of times
you have the right to the ball, so you can run through a player to catch a ball.
I don't think it was a sure thing call, but I just think when a receiver's coming back to an underthrown ball, and the defensive back is there at all, and there's any contact, their instinct is to throw the flag.
Right.
I don't know what the hell was going on because the official threw the flag back away from the play, called pass interference on the offense. No, he called on the defense, I guess,
Yeah.
but they were just running around at each other.
They were doing they were kind of doing a dance, the amount of motions they were doing.
Yeah, it was like chickens with their heads cut off,
Yeah.
just kind of running in circles. So it was not an inspiring officiating show. That I would throw in the booty catch. This is sort of separate from I don't know what we look at with this one.
Yeah.
The replay assist not coming in on booties, which
I don't understand replay assist. I truly that's not just me
Well,
being like, oh, I don't get it.
well, it
I
wasn't just
literally
that.
don't understand it.
Because the Cooks one, like I said, if you slow it down, he did pin it with his right hand, with his right foot down, and then get his left foot down. So like that might if they challenged we saw it last week. I forget which primetime game.
Right.
Replay assist said something. The team challenged and won.
Yeah.
So what is replay assist doing if it's incorrect? And then James Cook ran on a third down and picked up the first down.
Right.
And then they just came, like, no, we're short. They stopped the game and moved it to fourth and 1. And it was like, they might not be right about that.
Right.
Replay assist should be the obvious, like, no,
it should be
no
so glaringly obvious.
It shouldn't be a half yard on a short run up the middle.
Yeah.
It's they really need some, and I don't know the standard. I legitimately don't know the standard for when it's applied, how it's applied, and when it's not. More importantly, when it's not.
It felt
applied.
like it was applied more in this game than it has been from I've seen all season too.
For the Patriots, yeah.
What did you think about the Mac Hollins interception non-DPI?
I didn't think that was. I think maybe this is a me thing, and sometimes we in the football analysis game get caught up in what we think and feel.
Right.
But I'm watching that, and it looked like Mac Hollins was more concerned with drawing a flag than catching the ball.
I could see that.
And I don't think an official is going to reward you for that if he can tell that. And there was a play just now. I was watching a game in Seattle. I forget who the receiver was. It was who'd they get from New Orleans?
Oh, Shaheed.
So Shaheed's running up the right sideline, bad ball, and he just tries to draw the flag and doesn't get it. Like you have to make an attempt to catch it.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily see a great attempt at that. I thought he was more concerned with the corner. So I think that's why he didn't get the call. Was he interfered with? Like, yeah.
Right.
But are you going to get that call when you're sort of engaged in a tussle?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think?
I didn't think it was egregious. I do think that, like, if you're not going to call that, then you probably shouldn't call it on Marcus Jones.
Exactly.
And if you are going to call it on Marcus Jones, you should call it. So, like, they weren't exact plays.
Well, can I apply your standard to it too, where it's like, I don't think it was PI, but it's like, it's kind of BS that he got a pick out of it.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that would have been better than any punt they could have had. So it wasn't worth.
The ruling it a catch for Shakir, inconsequential because they called DPI anyway, but
I don't think that would have held up.
Crazy.
He never caught it.
No.
Should Vrabel have challenged it just out of principle, just to make them feel bad about what they just did?
Well, I genuinely believe that if the official knew that Marcus Jones caught the ball and was trying to catch the ball, I don't think they throw the flag.
Yeah. The ruling of simultaneous possession was bonkers to me. But anyways.
It was.
Is that why they lost? Partially. I hate when people are like, oh, that's not why they lost.
Know,
it's like,
it plays a role, but like it
when
was
it's
an
third
utter collapse. It was just a pure the defense. It stinks. You're playing without Robert Spillane, who truly has probably been like their most consistent defender this season.
Yeah.
You're playing without Milton Williams, who's been one of your most impactful defenders all season. Mm-hmm. And then clearly you're without Will Campbell on offense too. So there's some excuses to be made here for why the Patriots lost the way they did. But and then also you got to throw in the kick returns too that the Patriots were allowing, which put the Bills on 2 consecutive short fields. Yep. Once again, doesn't excuse the other 3 touchdowns they allowed.
Yeah.
But when you're allowing a guy to run for a 58-yard return, and when you have a face mask, when you're Brendan Schooler, and you're one of the best special teams players in the league, and then you've got Marte Mapu with a holding penalty, it was a really, really, really poor performance overall from the special teams unit.
Yeah. Really just the kick coverage, right? I mean, the punting was fine. Borregales hit his field goal. Right. It's just kick coverage. I've noticed outside of a couple of breaks, we talked about this last week, didn't we? Like, there's just a wall of humans killing you. Like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be as challenging as the Patriots made it look today, and it was killer because you go up 21-0, and immediately they have the ball at the 44 of New England, and it's just like all you need to do in that moment is not even like keep the foot on the gas. Is you don't need to do that. You need to just not crash into a pole, and that's what they did.
The Bills have had a really good kick return unit recently. Ray Davis has been really good at it. And I believe, at least at one point in the season, they were the only kick return unit that was using an offensive lineman as a blocker. I asked Jeremy Springer at one point this year, have you guys thought about using an offensive lineman? I didn't know at the time that the Bills were doing that. And he was like, actually, one team is doing it. I don't know why more teams don't do it. It's like, it's such a short space that you'd think you'd want better blockers than better athletes in that play.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's 5 yards difference, 10 yards difference.
Yeah. So it's a little different, but like a left tackle has to deal with 2 to 3 yards in run up.
Especially if you got like a 6th or 7th O lineman, fresh legs,
And if it's an athletic guy, if it's a guy who runs obviously Jared Wilson's a starter, but Jared Wilson would be an ideal guy to have in there since he runs like a 4.8.
Sort of like a guard tackle type,
Yeah, someone
big
who
and strong but agile. We should coach. We should probably be in there.
I wouldn't be surprised if more teams started using offensive linemen on that play.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what's affecting it, but I just think you have the kick coverage being a disaster. I think the defense, like they had a couple of nice stunts in the first half that really limited what Josh Allen was doing. He was like staring down the barrel of the rush multiple times, and there was nothing in the second half. He was just standing there waiting for there were plays where he invented pressure because he was just thinking, certainly there's no way no one's getting here. So you had that combined with just a soft zone against a team that doesn't have their elite talent it's the 2 guys in the backfield.
Right.
You have a good tight end. I'm not saying that they don't have a good tight end.
Right.
But you can man up on that team and you should be able to play pretty well. They sort of created their own issues on defense.
Yeah, and this was once again not the most consequential thing, but how do you get Christian Gonzalez playing elite level play when he's not going up against an elite receiver? Because he got beat pretty badly by Brandon Cooks.
He was
lucky that Cooks bobbled it. Mm-hmm. Got beat a couple times, I think,
got
by
beat
Kincaid.
On 3rd down of that opening drive by Kincaid, but Allen just airmailed it.
Yeah.
I wonder does Gonzalez let down when he just doesn't respect the guy he's against?
He has to be a little bit,
because he did against Mitchell.
The Bengals.
Mitchell.
Tinsley.
Kyed. There must be an element because he probably like Brandon Cooks. Really, I watched this guy play when I was a freshman in college, and then he burned him. He got beat by a full step on that play.
I know.
Luckily for him, Brandon Cooks decided to 6'7" it all up the field. He was just trying to be cool with the kids. He's like, I'm young.
6'7".
Yeah.
I tweeted after that just because it was kind of a fun play on the name that Brandon Cooks cooked Christian Gonzalez. And you know how it's like, just you feel like it's impossible for someone to disagree with a tweet. Someone said, I wouldn't say he got cooked, but there's only so long you can cover. You're going to lose eventually having to stay in coverage for that long. It's like, come on, what are we doing?
He was beat off the line. He was chasing him the whole time. By the way, a little cleanup. James Cook did not go to Florida State. That would be his brother. Remember the other day I was talking about
James
Georgia.
Cook.
Yeah. What's crazy is he wasn't the top back when they won the national championship.
Who was?
I forget. Not a guy that's gone on to have a career like James Cook.
Yeah, Cook was. Yeah, it's interesting.
It was, stand by, 2021 Georgia Bulldogs. Cook was not the leading rusher. It was Zamir White.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he hasn't had that good of a career.
Cook had fewer yards, fewer carries.
Yeah.
Did have more receiving yards. So,
have you? I forget.
I just wanted to clean that up because I thought about it. You know, when you say something wrong and it's on tape, and you're like, "Oof, that's like live TV." It is what it is. Tape, tough.
Are you, or have you ever been a college football guy? I forget.
Like obsessed or anything? No, I'm envious of the way that I enjoy college football. I wish that I could enjoy all sports that way, where I just put it on and I watch it and I absorb enough, but then it ends and I move along. Like I'm not at all like a college football nerd.
this is a complete and utter aside. I won't spend more than a minute or two on it.
Mm.
I feel like college football is getting to a very tenuous place of losing people. And it needs to fix itself. And I'm not the man to fix it. But there are so many things wrong with college football at this point that if you are a casual college football guy and you're like, wait, the head coach just leaves before the playoffs, or like players have to sign contract extensions after their freshman season on NIL. It feels like all of these things put together create a system that's going to be somewhat unwatchable if it keeps getting worse or continues.
I just to
get excited about a recruiting class, and then
that part is foolish. Like they should sign contracts at this point. The fact that it's free agency,
do afterwards. It feels like,
but
now.
it's basically you're constantly. It would be as if there were only 1-year deals in the NFL, and you're trying to build a team, and your guy like I believe the players should have the ability to leave if they want to, whatever. But to always have the transfer portal in the back pocket, it's just
wild.
Like, yeah, it's been shifted too much. I agree.
I'm a Washington Huskies fan, and Jed Fish has been mentioned as a possible Michigan head coach. And personally, I would not care if Jed Fish left. I just think whatever. But I do care that they would lose their entire recruiting class, and that's a problem. Like, I don't know that it's crazy. I don't know.
I would add this. I thought, when back in the BCS days, or even beyond that, when the national championship would just involve 2 teams, sometimes the team got screwed out of that. So opening the playoff up to 4 teams, I supported. You know what? There's a team that won't get screwed that way.
Right.
Don't need 12.
12 is a lot.
Don't need Tulane. Don't need old James Madison. Sorry, I almost said Old Dominion. What's the difference? I don't know.
James Madison making it was crazy.
Just don't. That's just clearly like I'm all for money grabs. Like Alabama, Oklahoma. That'll be wonderful to put on. Is that a Friday night game? Like great. I get it. It's all for money.
Like forcing Tulane and James Madison in those extremely rare scenarios where like a Boise State or a UCF deserves it.
Yeah.
Is like, we don't need to force it.
Like, I don't feel much sympathy for the 5th team that didn't get to play for the national championship. But there's a certain point where that gets cut off. But that might have exhausted my college football.
It did for me too. So
I have to throw one at you right here. Yeah. Did you know that Josh Allen throws up every game?
I didn't know that. That was wild to find out.
Me neither.
Seems like something you should get checked out.
Definitely the first time I saw it. So that was something. I remember there's a sports legend. I want to say a Boston sports legend who threw up every game. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to Google it. But I would agree that
David Andrews might have like before every game or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's super uncommon. Like there's nerves, but usually before.
Yeah,
not like
halftime. Yeah,
not in like the third quarter.
Yeah.
Let me see. Before there was someone notable, but Josh Allen. You Google it, Josh Allen. It comes up a lot. So,
Drake May in the second half. I believe he was 5 of 12 for 47 yards.
Yikes! Oh, not Bill great. Russell. By the way, Bill Russell. Big
Bill
time.
Russell, interesting.
Big time pregame puker. Glad we could figure that out.
Yeah. Is it time to have a Trevion Henderson conversation, or should we wait for Booms and Dooms for that?
Well, I think the Drake May conversation is more important because he had 2 chances. I tweeted it twice. I tweeted the same thing verbatim because I'm clever like that. Everyone says seemingly he needs his MVP moment. Where's his MVP moment? His comeback win, his clutch moment. This was it, and he had 2 chances at it. And I don't have his stats on those last 2 drives. What was he like? 1 for 4, 1 for 5? He
was 1 of 3 for 5 yards on the final one. Not sure about the one before that.
Yeah, so he didn't do it. And I don't, like the last 4th down and completion, nobody was open. Right. But you get in open space with Bosa. That's when you need to that's when you need to pump fake and beat him to the sticks. That's what Josh Allen would do.
Right.
And he didn't do it. So I think there was sort of a depegging in terms of that MVP list. He was knocked down a peg. Yeah. And I think it's sort of tied into what you said about this being good. if you want to ascend classes in the NFL and rise up tiers,
Mm.
you need to be able to win this game. So I think this was a lesson that there's still a tier that they haven't achieved. And had they won this game and pulled it out because the Bills screwed up or a lucky bounce or something like that, maybe that lesson is harder to find. And I think that also goes into what Drake May's development and meteoric rise. He had a moment at home twice to win a big game and didn't do it.
Yeah. No, it's very, very true. And yeah, he's got one game-winning drive in his career, and like I said, no fourth quarter comebacks. But that's a tough one because there's only so many opportunities. But this was the big opportunity to do it. And Mike Vrabel said after the game that he had full confidence in May and the offense to do it. That's why he said he went for it on 4th and 5. But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that it feels weird when May doesn't pick up first downs on the ground. Like there was, which one was it? It was
the last drive he ran left and it went down before the 2-minute warning. It was like a 0-yard sack.
It was a 0-yard sack. And I was like, I feel like if that was in the first half, he would have picked up like 15 yards on it.
I think it was Rousseau chasing him and just caught him.
Yeah. It feels like there's, I don't know if it's less decisiveness or what it is in those moments.
But so that was second down, the 2-minute warning. The third down was really weird where he kind of locked in the pocket, froze, pumped, and then just kind of threw to nobody, even though Henderson was on the right sideline. It was, I don't know.
That seemed like it might have come out of his hand wrong or something.
It was weird because it went to nobody. I don't know what was going on in that one. And then you had the fourth down where literally nobody breaks open. A lot of people tweeted that they could have called defensive holding on Taron Johnson on Stephon Diggs, which fair enough. There was some contact there over the middle, but they didn't call that one. So
we do have someone in the comments saying Booty and Diggs were being tackled to the ground.
That's an overstatement. There was, it was the typical hand on a hip as Diggs is breaking out. You literally can't tell. Like it might have been a hold. It might not have been a hold, but there was that one. The previous drive, there was the incomplete. Oh, it was. So he took a sack on second down to set up 3rd and 12. And then it wasn't the best ball to Henry, but it was through his hands.
Right.
Henry had to stop his momentum, jump and spin, but it was there. It was a catchable ball for an NFL tight end. I think Hunter Henry would say that. And so how much do you fault Drake May for being off target?
Yeah.
Somewhat, because there was a ball.
It was off target. He made it harder.
There was one earlier to Mac Hollins who was wide open in the flat, and Mac Hollins had to make an insane play just to catch it and gain 5 yards. So May wasn't his most accurate today for sure. So he takes some blame for that incompletion, even though it did go through the hands.
Again, they're commenting here, Drake needs more help when it comes to the wide receivers and tight end. I can't say that after one game. Like they've won 10 games in a row. I think their wide receivers have been a strength this season.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry's been good. Austin Hooper's been good. Like a loss doesn't suddenly determine that the wide receivers and tight ends who've been playing well all year are now suddenly bad.
I would frame it more as they had a bad day.
Right.
And some of that is performance. Some of that is usage. Like, did Pop Douglas play in this game?
Stephon Diggs barely played in this game.
I know
there was a ton of two running back sets. There was a lot of Thayer Munford. There was a decent amount of Jack Westover. So like I felt like every time I was looking out on the field, Diggs wasn't out there. It was weird.
Yeah, Hooper had no targets. Douglas had no targets. Williams didn't have any targets. So
how many targets did Diggs have?
4.
I know this is simple and I'm oversimplifying things, but like,
and 1 was the last play, which
when the motivation of Diggs is there against the Bills, I think you kind of do want to just overuse him, like make sure he's part of the game plan. Because I don't know if you saw the moment when like they showed Travis Scott on the screen and then Diggs was like going crazy on the sideline. I think that's the Diggs we would have seen if they had targeted him more. But
he was like legitimately barking at the Bills sideline after making a catch, like barking. So you're right.
I think that's somewhat of a failure by the coaching staff.
Yeah,
use, because I think using Mac Hollins the way they did, because he obviously seemed super motivated as well. That makes sense, but I think you also need to feed Diggs in that game as well.
Even Booty makes a play for you, which showed to me chemistry. Like that
Right.
is, they read the coverage. If it's one way, they're going to go back shoulder.
Yeah.
May read it. He throws the deep ball. Booty goes out and gets it for him. Like there's a
Right.
trust there. There's a
Yeah.
confidence there. And granted, he got a little assistance from the turf, but it counted. To not go to, he didn't get a ball thrown in his direction the rest of the game. And I don't know, there were opportunities. The deep shot was to Hollins, which I didn't
Yeah.
love in the end zone. The other deep shot was to Hollins that we talked about already. So
Right.
I don't know. They got away from some of the things that worked for them. I don't think that means that those guys aren't on the team anymore. They
No.
just utilized them very oddly today.
They definitely did. All right, let's talk about Prize Picks real quick. Because this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It's the holiday season. Best time of the year for sports. You got bowl games, which we talked about earlier, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. Well, you and I are out here making decisions every day: what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch. There's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. If you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS, you get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's see how we did this week.
Probably
Prize
not
Picks.
great, if we're being, frank with it. I don't think we had a great week.
I don't think we did either. So we got
Diggs.
1 of 4. James Cook over 82.5 yards.
Yeah.
We did not get Dalton Kincaid more than 41.5 receiving yards. We did not get Josh Allen less than 35.5 rushing yards. And we did not get Stephon Diggs more than 48.5 receiving yards. I think what we got to do in the future is we got to whittle this down to the 2, maybe 3 that we believe in the most.
I believe in all of them, Doug. I fully believe in every time I think we do it. I'm like, well, that's
obvious.
It can't miss.
No,
it cannot miss. Would you have gone? I believe Phil Rivers had a half a touchdown. Would you have done the more then? Because I would not have. And
I think I might have, but I would have regretted it after watching Philip Rivers play.
Did you see him fall down?
I did.
That was tough.
So
he almost won the damn game.
Philip Rivers already moved weird and had terrible mechanics
when he was like 28 in his prime.
And then you add 5 years and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. He could not move the ball down. He had the one completion on what looked like it would have been the game-winning drive.
Yeah.
Which ended up not being. But yeah, it was, I would have lost that one as well, but I would have been convicted in my choice.
So I did think it was exciting that the Colts at least were in that game with Philip Rivers at quarterback. Someone just threw in the comments, add 5 years and 50 pounds. Philip Rivers also looked wide in that game.
Yeah. So that Madden clip went viral. I don't even know if it was real, but where he was just basically like humongous. And then they showed him pregame and I was like, wasn't that inaccurate? I mean, he looks like a fella, he looks like he's been living all right.
Not quite a grandpa, but certainly a dad of 10 or whatever. Do you know Philip Rivers' youngest child is 2?
Well, I mean, 44-year-olds have little 2-year-olds all the time. So it's just crazy because his oldest.
No, it's just crazy. He's got like a 23-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Well, the man has a lot of children. I don't know what to tell you.
And at a certain point, the kids just raise themselves, I guess. But Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup using code CLNS. Booms and dooms? Should we do some booms? Should we do some dooms?
I have like 50 booms and dooms, so we better get to it.
Oh, God. All right. Number 1 boom,
Trevion Henderson.
He had a 52-yard touchdown. He had a 65-yard touchdown. I tweeted out, this is just Doug talks about his tweets. Yeah. I tweeted out the Patriots never had a running back like Trevion Henderson during the Patriots dynasty era. And like people just feel compelled to be like, that's wrong. So someone said Corey Dillon. I was like, no. Completely different running backs. Mm-mm. And a couple of people were like, what about Deion Lewis? It's like, guys, Deion Lewis was a nice player. Now Deion Lewis is not ripping off 450+ yard runs in one season.
Yeah.
And 2 in one game.
You know what? And I sent that to my friend because we were talking about the game. And similar to your thought, I was like, that's a touchdown you always see other teams score, but not the Patriots.
Yeah, like how many times do we see James White get caught from behind on those?
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson always gets caught from behind. Go back to Antoine Smith and
Sammy
Corey Dillon.
Morris and Antoine Smith. And I just...
There was no, like that's That's a play when you're watching and they do a cut in and Alvin Kamara scores a 60-yard
Right.
touchdown. You're like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
That is what you're saying. That is an elite sort of burst and speed. And it was
Yeah.
the same thing. I wish I had in my head. The safety came down to get him in the hole. And you could just see them like sort of like the Red Sea parting. And he just wasn't, he had the angle and then he didn't. And he's done that a few times this year. He's faster than he looks apparently on the field.
To the person who said Corey Dillon, like, I know the math doesn't add up here. I think you could have fit 2 Trevion Hendersons in Corey Dillon's uniform and pads.
Yeah.
Corey Dillon 6'1", 230 or something.
So
they called him clock killing Corey Dillon. They didn't call him explosive play Corey Dillon.
So I think your tweet, Twitter's largely unusable because of that. But I would say it hurt some feelings. How could you say that every running back they've ever had sucks? And it's like, no, Corey Dillon was elite in different ways.
Right.
James White was elite in different ways.
Right.
They had a lot of great running backs along the way, a lot of mediocre running backs, and a lot of not so good running backs. They didn't have someone who could take a handoff and go 60 yards in a flash and have everyone misjudge his speed.
Yeah, and especially like the broken play one was possibly even more impressive just because like he just chose to run the other way and then was gone.
From a standstill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great Trevion Henderson game. Now, granted, outside of those 2 runs, not much to talk about.
He allowed a sack, I think.
Not much to talk about. But you can't Gerard Mayo that and say, oh, take away those 2 big runs and he didn't run that much. You can't do that.
I also do want to talk about Drake May's speed on that because I feel like the TV copy didn't even really do it justice. I was wowed in person by how fast Drake May was running, and the fact that he was running ahead of Trevion Henderson. He also started running from a standstill.
Yeah, and
it was crazy.
And like he didn't know he was going to do that. Trevion Henderson was at least okay. I'm going to go.
Right.
Drake May was like, oh, I guess we're going, and did that. So I'm
actually pretty surprised that May was clocked slower than Henderson on that.
I guess I'd have to see the dots, but I guess he had a little bit of a head start. But you know who else was fired up watching that was JJ Watt. JJ Watt almost grabbed a helmet and ran down the field and signed with the Patriots. Like he was ready to he was fired up. So that was a cool play. Things were going well. That was when they got down 31-28 and then not 31-28. 28-25, whatever. Right. They had just gotten down for the first time all game. It was like one play, you got the lead back.
Yeah, it was 28-24.
Yeah, I'm not so good at the math, so I'm just going to trust you on that. But anyways,
it is funny. This is once again a very dumb thought. It was almost kind of bad that they got it all in one play. If they had been able to like drain some clock down there and then score, maybe it makes things a little harder on the Bills.
The rookie's got to learn. You know,
I also have another question.
I
didn't get a great chance to rewatch it before the half.
Mm-hmm.
If Ramondre Stevenson doesn't tackle himself, is there any possibility he scores on that play?
I don't think he scores. No, there was a safety over there, and he's not. You're right that it looked. You would have liked to have him have an opportunity.
I was just like, oh man, it was the right decision. It was definitely the right decision.
The fact that the clock wasn't running, talk about another officiating.
Oh,
I don't
know.
God. I don't know who we can get mad at about that.
Excruciating.
They snap it with 6 seconds. He runs up the left side, puts himself down. You look up and it's 6 seconds. just a horrific show for the NFL. But I don't think he would have scored. That was no. I don't think he would have scored. Maybe Henderson.
So goalie 2552. Do you think JJ Watt could come out of retirement and he still play? I do actually. He's one of the few guys who he hasn't changed his body at all as an announcer.
Right,
he's still huge.
He's not little. He had 12.5 sacks his last. I didn't quite understand why he retired.
I know.
I feel like he just didn't want to play anymore. It wasn't like he was cooked. He was on the Cardinals. That'll wear you down.
I mean, it was kind of the same. Phillip Rivers was good his final season.
Yeah. COVID year probably wore him down and he was like, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. He didn't want to be like a gig worker. You go to Arizona one year, you go to Washington one year, whatever. He didn't want to go through that life. So, but yeah, Watt, I think you're right. But he was trying to think before that, he had 1 sack the year before. So missed half the year with an injury, I assume. So The body takes a toll.
Um, I had a hard time coming up with any other booms. Like
All right,
Drake May was definitely a first half boom.
I had all of mine were in the first half. I had Josh McDaniels' opening script. That opening drive was masterful. I think
Yeah, it
you
was
had
really nice.
4 runs, 3 passes. You went 84 yards on 8 plays, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Uh, it was just a perfect drive. Was that the drive that had the double pass, or was that the second drive?
I think that might have been the second one.
I think the whole first quarter. I'll give him the whole first quarter. Like Josh McDaniels had a great first quarter. Not so much after that. And then another boom. I mentioned the stunts in the first half. Like the
Mm,
pass rush was it was artistic. Some of the ways that they were working these end
yeah,
stunts and getting a couple sacks. I think Gibbons had the one where he was just waiting, right? Because like
right.
the pressure, they blitzed Marcus Jones, they stunted, and then Gibbons was just there like, "Hello, Josh Allen." And the other one, who got the other one? Landry.
Yeah,
But it was clearly like a team sack. Like there was a
right.
lot of good stuff in that first
Yeah,
half.
Barmore was in there on that one. No, for sure. And I actually thought Gibbons and Ellis played well in the first half. Then they both wound up allowing touchdowns.
Oh, the
Carlton
Gibbons one was
Davis
tough.
ultimately, I think, played well, but he had the miss on the sack. And then he also had the DPI, which I don't think it was DPI. So I have a hard time.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't give him a doom because I think that overall he played pretty well.
yeah.
Um,
Missing
but
the sack was tough
the
because
mistack on the sack was pretty
Josh
egregious.
Allen gave himself up. He's like, oh, I'm toast. And he
Yeah,
ducked, and then he was like, okay, I shall
yeah.
run now. So, yeah, that was tough. So that brings us to the Dooms. Doug, you want to go
Spe-
first?
special teams in total, but I would throw Brendan Schooler out there
The face
specifically
mask.
for the face mask. He also, it's tough on punts, but he missed a tackle on a punt.
He got
But
blocked in the back on that.
yeah,
That was a weird non-call.
but overall, just kick coverage was bad.
Yeah, that was my first, was the kickoff unit, the Schooler face mask. You go up 21, just don't give up a big kick return and face mask the guy.
Right.
Just don't give them points right back. And then obviously it comes back to get you. I think the you could individualize these, or we could put a blanket statement on defensive penalties,
Yeah.
because Woodson's was a third down stop in the red
Right.
zone.
Yep.
The Bills went 5 for 6 in the red zone, and at least 2 of them were kept alive by third down
Yeah.
penalties. And then there was the aforementioned questionable who was Davis on Coleman. Those 2 penalties were backbreaking,
Yeah.
whether you agree with them or not.
Right. No, they definitely were. Sneaky Doom, Marte Mapu.
I have him.
He had, what was it, a hold
It was a hold on Kyle
on the
Williams, who
Kyle
had
Williams
like
return.
a 50-yard return.
He also, I don't think, got to proper depth on the 24-yard catch by Dalton Kincaid.
I'd have to rewatch, but certainly someone
I
messed up.
think they were in like a cover two there where he should have dropped further back and
Yeah.
there was just no one there. And Marte Mapu is someone who's really known for his smarts and preparedness and all that stuff, but I see too many of those plays from him still where like he gets picked or he's not. It's like these small things that the expectation of what Marte Mapu could have been, he's never lived up
Yeah.
to it, and like he might need to be counted on less in critical situations.
I think compare what you're saying to, there was that third down where Gibbons was in man against James Cook, and he worked through a traffic. He
Right.
worked his way through while keeping his eyes on Cook, broke into the backfield. They threw him in the flat. He makes the tackle. They punt. Like that's the type of plays, if you're Marte Mapu, like you have to, and you're right. He
Yeah.
probably would have been picked out of that play and it would have been a first down.
Yeah. I
Maybe
know
that's
there are
unfair.
different body types and everything, but I don't know. I would be using Del Pettis in the Marte Mapu
Hmm.
situations. I know that Mapu is 6'3", 215 or whatever, and Del Pettis is 5'10", 200, but Pettis has just played better in those situations.
In the hold on the kick return, it's hard to. He didn't know this, but it had no, there was no need for it.
Right.
The Kyle Williams was blazing past those 2 bodies, and he clearly got the outside. It was just an unnecessary hold. and it was it was a pretty big one. It was a pretty big one.
Yeah. So Russo Ball Knower Tony, one of our top
Yeah.
listeners, threw in 2 comments. Drake May hasn't thrown TD against the reigning AFC East champs in 8 quarters. There's no way to sugarcoat that. He also said, weren't the Pats supposed to have this lockdown secondary with 2 good outside corners? The Bills had washed up vets and their best secondary player injured. Again, no way to spin this. On the
He did.
On the second point,
Yeah.
not really, because their safeties are Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson. I think that we all kind of knew that the secondary was going to be a little bit limited because of that.
And I found their defensive issues. They were in zone.
Yeah,
Don't play zone. That's the
we
bigger issue
talked
to
about
me.
Christian Gonzalez, how he might not step up against non-elite receivers, but like those issues didn't cause the Patriots to lose the game. And Carlton Davis, I guess it just all depends on how you feel about that penalty. Drake May, did he not have a passing touchdown against the Bills in week 5?
He did not. No, but he was badass that game. I can't fault him. Like, there's no
Yeah, and
sugarcoating today.
He
I
played
wouldn't.
really
I
well in the
wouldn't.
first half of this game too.
Yeah, and he ran for 2 touchdowns. I just wouldn't staple those 2 games together because I think he was a badass in Buffalo. I think today he wilted in the second half. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. It was a big opportunity, and it was butchered.
It was maybe not like the worst second half. Maybe it was the worst half. I don't know, but it was definitely the most disappointing, where you had this expectation of what Drake May could do in that situation, and it was just like an utter flop. Just nothing happened.
My next doom.
Yep.
Just wide receivers. Like, were they there? Were they involved? I don't know if it's their fault. I don't know what was going on, but it was a game where Mac Hollins got 8 targets.
Yeah.
And no one else was really involved. That's not a winning strategy. Mac Hollins, you want to target 3 times, and they're all going to be 15-yard gains when you really need it. You don't want to go to him 8 times.
It's funny because this was also a game where, you know how they do the pregame introductions now?
Yes.
How many players do you think they should introduce in the pregame?
11. I think they should do 11.
They did 12. They did all 4 wide receivers.
But they dn't start 12 guys. So
I know. You can't do it. You can't do that.
Do you think they negotiate? Like, they're like, hey, Vidarian, we can only do 11. Could you mind if we skip you?
It's funny because, like, I guess you do want to include Demario Douglas in that, but it's also like, well, when you also want to include Ramondre Stevenson, you can't do 13.
They should do like the offensive line and have 5 guys run it together, because let's be real, those guys don't want the individual.
I don't know. Will Campbell, when he's in there, gets a pretty big pop.
It's just like, O-line, they're a unit.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, they could all hold hands.
But yeah, Drake May certainly made my dooms list because of all of the reasons we mentioned. If he, let's say either one of those last 2 drives late in the fourth quarter, if he goes 4 for 5, runs for 15 yards, throws the touchdown and win the game, you're saying MVP, he's leading all the talk shows nationally, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't. So I think when that's the case, it's a hit. Like, there's no way to talk your way around. Like, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing, because those are the reasons they lost.
Right.
Drake May in a vacuum, like, just tunnel vision on him, not good.
Do you know what? I think this might have fed the Scott Kaczmar fire a little bit.
Oh, don't, Doug. We don't. Are you a Simpsons guy?
I am, yeah.
Just don't look. That is always my policy when it comes to people that are deranged about Patriots quarterbacks. I know.
But he is quite deranged, but he's probably going to take a pretty big victory lap this week.
That's
unfortunate.
Great. That's wonderful. That's just great.
I don't know if there was any other clear offensive line didn't seem to play horrible in this game. I think Michael Wenu had a
hold. Yeah.
And PFF charged him with allowing a sack.
Lowe had a false start, and there was that great 17-yard Drake May run where there was just a free rusher. I think Vidarian Lowe was stuck out in space, like, oops.
Right.
So not a perfect game, but I mean, the offensive line certainly, they played a game that didn't make it unmanageable for the quarterback.
No. Isn't it kind of crazy that the Patriots haven't clinched a playoff spot yet?
I mean, if they lose out, I would say they don't deserve to make the playoffs. So fair enough. But
I'm very curious to see how the Dolphins look tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, especially with TJ Watt, I would assume not playing. So there's a pretty significant factor there. Can I add one more Drake May thing?
Yeah, I will just say, just advice for anyone who's listening. If there's a medical procedure or like a wellness procedure that you go through that could potentially collapse your lung,
Hmm.
just don't do it. I don't know. It's probably it's the you weigh risk reward. I think the risk might outweigh the reward on that
So
one.
what was he having done? I
Like
didn't.
dry needling. I don't know what it
Is
is.
that like a therapy?
I would assume so.
Oh, don't do that then.
Yeah. I'm
No,
not
yeah,
I'm
don't do.
never doing it.
I'm out. I mean, I don't want to like close us off. Maybe down the line, a dry needling place wants to advertise with Pat's chat.
True.
I don't want to fully close the door, so I'll remain somewhat open to the idea, but I'm not rushing to go do it. I wanted to add something I did love in this game, and that was Drake May's touchdown run, the RPO.
Yeah.
I love that play. I love like they don't do that enough, and maybe it's protecting him and whatever it is, but it was so needed in that play, and it was designed. Like it's one thing if he doesn't like what he sees and finds an alley and runs, but when they snap the ball and he knows what he's going to do, oh, that's it looked real nice.
No, it definitely did. And I also thought that clearly the second half was bad, but in the first half, some of those short yardage issues were cleaned up a bit. Ramondre
Yeah,
Stevenson was running well in the first
red
half.
zone,
And
two red
God, they
zones.
just completely went away from Ramondre Stevenson after the first half.
Maybe it's because he hit the guy. He got a
That
little.
was kind of dumb.
I was confused. They didn't show it. They showed him hitting Milano,
Right.
and then there was a big scuffle, right? And then at the end of the scuffle, the ref throws a flag. I never saw Milano hit back. John Hussey didn't know 38-58, did not know who was on which
No,
team. They didn't
no.
like, I actually didn't see the retaliation hit. All I saw was Milano look at the ref like he hit me in the face. There was no flag for a while. Like, that seemed like a case that maybe benefited the Patriots, but I don't know. I wasn't down there in the scrum.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That might have been because it would have been tough to erase that run in that situation. But no, I don't know. I'll need to rewatch the second half. But Vrabel said something after the game about like there weren't many opportunities in the second half, but it's like that's just because you guys kept going 3 and out. Like
You have the ball. That's an
it wasn't
opportunity.
like there was the one turnover essentially just replaced a punt.
Right. Yeah.
So they just kept having 3 plays and out. I don't know. I mean, there wasn't much to it. The plays were bad, and I guess in that situation, it's hard to be like, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because it is a small sample size of plays.
Hmm.
But when you're running the ball as well as you are in the first half, and you've got the lead,
Hmm.
use Ramondre Stevenson more. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the offensive usage was perplexing, just in general, and it doesn't help, like you said, when you go 3 and out, you don't have enough plays to really get everything going. But I don't know. There's to be going so well and then just to crash. A
Yeah.
lot has to go wrong, and a lot of it is decision making.
So Stevenson had the one carry in the second half, and that was the one where he hit Milano. So
And
maybe
that was
that
it.
was it.
I mean, that's a little. I don't know. I don't know.
I
I'd
don't
have to
know.
I'd
I
have to go
mean,
back and see exactly how and why that was the case. But I did have another. It wasn't a doom, but we mentioned Gonzalez getting burned by Cooks and Kincaid on the opening drive.
mhm.
He also got blocked to all hell by Keon Coleman on that long Josh Allen run. Where at a
Mm,
certain point you've got to get away from Keon Coleman's block. Like when I think of receivers buying in and being like intense blockers, Keon Coleman doesn't come to mind. A guy
yeah,
that's getting benched for just like
you could probably
barely.
like distract him by talking about buying a jacket at Macy's or something.
Just doesn't seem like a guy that cares. Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting. So to get blocked that long for him wasn't great.
I think that's fair. Do
And
you have
one
any
more.
other? Yeah.
Well, we didn't mention another Drake May inaccuracy. Remember when he missed Hunter Henry and it hit Jordan Poyer in the chest?
That was bad.
So
Yeah.
just a bad Drake May game.
It was not a good
Hmm.
Drake May game, and I don't know. I don't think this will necessarily happen again, but it has been a little shakier in the second half of the season for Drake May, which I think we all could have expected. It was
Hmm.
untenable for him to continue playing as well as he did in the first half, especially on deep balls. It was like the other shoe's gonna have to drop at some point. But I don't know. I mean, a 10-game winning streak is a 10-game winning streak. Even if this is a team that thrived on a bad schedule,
Yeah.
everyone knew the schedule before the season, and they all thought this team was still going to only win 7 or 8 games, and they've won a lot more than that. So I'm going back to the way I was kind of all season. I don't know how this turns out, but the season's been much better than anyone would have expected.
Hmm.
And I think it would still be slightly disappointing if they did not win a playoff game this season,
Yeah.
but it also probably shouldn't be disappointing.
I'm with you. I just think given where you are and, with Denver winning today, I feel as though I made this point Friday night on TV. You were probably watching. Like everyone
Yep.
listening was probably watching. Like I understand it's a big deal. Mike's on TV. We got to watch. But my point was every year there are teams that nobody expects to make the playoffs and
Yeah.
then they get washed away in the wild card round and then no one really cares or thinks about them again.
Right.
So when it comes to sort of putting the stamp on this season being in a massive, and it is a massive step already. Like I thought this was a
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 year rebuild, and here they are
Yep.
with 11 wins. I just feel like getting to that divisional round is important,
Yeah.
and I don't know that you're going to be able to catch the Broncos now. Like this was their big test, and they passed it. They were home underdogs against the Packers, and they didn't beat their ass, but they won convincingly. Like they won
Yeah.
that game pretty strongly. They have the Jags, which is a tough game, but then the Chiefs and the Chargers. Like I don't think they're going to lose two of those games. So
Right.
the one seed's probably out of the question. So you're
Yeah.
going to have to get there the old-fashioned way.
Right.
And I won't sit here on the Pats Chat podcast if they lose in the wild card round and be like, this year was a failure.
No.
But I do think, let's say, all right, so this last four game stretch, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you finish 2-2 in it and then lose that wild card round.
Right.
It would feel like kind of a letdown given what they
Season
showed
ended
you.
with a little bit of a fart. Yeah.
It would feel like a letdown given that they showed you they can be better than that. So I think this Sunday, to spin it forward on national TV, you got flexed into prime time.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens actually looked good today. I didn't watch that game, neither did you. So we'll have to break that down after the fact. But they won 21-0 against the Bengals team that you went tooth and nail against, and they had
Yeah.
Burrow and they had Chase.
Yep.
That game is not a cinch by any means. So,
No.
but on the flip side, Doug, let's say they win in Baltimore and you
Yeah.
take care of business against the Jets and the Dolphins, you finish 3-1 in this 4 game stretch. Then you look at this game as a blip and a knock down a peg, but not catastrophic. So I think that's what's at stake this week.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's important for Vrabel to maintain the positivity that he's had all season with the locker room. Because if they do lose the Ravens this week, then maybe that good energy that the wide receiver core has had all year drops a little bit. And then I'm not saying you've got problems at that point, but like a lot of the buy-in, I think, is tied to the winning streak. And it was there before. Like, not saying that if you lose 2 games, the buy-in's going to go away, but it might not be as strong. And I think this team is as strong as the buy-in is right now.
Yeah.
So they need to bounce back. And I think I don't know, they've got every possibility to. If they play as well in the first half as against the Bills as in this game against the Ravens, then they'll win. But you can't have another second half like that against a good team because you're going to lose.
And if you do have to lose another one, it kind of has to come this week. It can't come to the Jets or the Dolphins. The Jets suck. The Dolphins are coming to you
against the Jets.
The Dolphins are coming to you in week 18. They'll almost certainly be eliminated by then. They're still in the hunt. I understand, but come week 18, they're going to come to you in January. If you can't win that game, that's gonna really punch
Miami
you.
Dolphins are 6-7 right now.
Mm-hmm.
They play the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Bucks, then the Patriots. It's kind of a tough schedule.
Yeah, that's a tougher than most. So
Yeah.
I feel comfortable saying you absolutely have to win weeks 17 and 18. And if you want this season to have sort of the oomph that you've set it up for you've got to beat the Ravens this week.
Dolphins have won 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the Dolphins, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, granted, they beat the Bills, but they beat the Commanders, who were terrible this season, Saints, who were pretty bad, Jets, who are bad. So might be fake. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll find out against the Steelers.
Can I throw something at you? Well, first of all, two things. This is where we're after an hour. We can do this. I just want to make a statement, a public statement for Michael Hurley Incorporated.
Yeah.
I am for unity. I support the concept of unity. Okay. I don't want any misconceptions about that.
Sure.
However, around the NFL today, everyone was wearing these opportunity hats where opport was blue or red or whatever team color, and then unity was white. And I was just like, that doesn't work. Opport?
Well,
you can't make opport separate. If there's two words, like, I'm sure I could come up with them, but I can't on the spot. But you can't just have a hat that says opport unity. That's the worst hat I've ever
there's
seen.
Probably a different way to do it. That sweatshirt was interesting because it said opport, because it was also on a sweatshirt and it was on the back of the sweatshirt.
Yeah, it was all around the league. Everyone
just had like a bunch of messages on the back. It had the opport unity, it had freedom, it had justice. I don't remember the last one, but it was like this is covering all bases.
Okay.
You can't possibly disagree with any of the messages on this sweatshirt.
And again, I'm pro unity. I'm just not pro opport. And I think it looked ridiculous.
Fair enough.
And lastly, Ian Eagle informed us today, and I want to throw this at you. Did you play intramural sports in college?
No.
Dang, you missed out. I played floor hockey. I was the goalie. I played softball for a couple of years, intramural co-ed softball, and I did indoor soccer for a season or two. That sucked. I don't really like soccer.
Ours weren't like arranged. We just played like indoor soccer.
Yeah, we had like leagues, like referees. Yeah. They kept score. There was playoffs. Yeah. So it was a fun way, and it's like Mike Hurley playing against Doug Kyed, you know?
Right.
We learned today Drake May played intramural basketball at UNC, which that's just got to suck. You know, you get out of class, you eat dinner, you get dressed, and you go to your intramural hoops game, and the dude's 6'5", like one of the most athletic people on campus, is just like dunking in your eyeball.
Probably could have played D1 basketball, yeah.
I bet, like, we know Drake May's temperament. He probably tried to pass and just kind of shoot from the perimeter, but still, it was probably pretty demoralizing to play intramural basketball against Drake May.
Against a 6'5". I will say that UNC is such a big school that there probably was a lot of really good guys playing intramural basketball there.
I'm sure, because like you have to be one of the, I don't know, 100 best players in the country to make the varsity team. So that leaves a lot of extra players around campus. But then there's probably a club team too, which would exclude you.
True.
Which would exclude you from the intramurals. So, just kind of a funny thought, because like when I played intramural sports, there was never like a top 5 NFL pick playing.
You didn't have an NFL quarterback on the other side?
He would have kicked my ass in indoor soccer, I'll tell you that much.
That's very true.
Don't ever play indoor soccer, by the way.
I'm not good enough at soccer to do that at this point in my life.
There's a lot of like kicking the ball at the same time as the other person.
Oh, yeah.
And then your ankle is just like a balloon the next day, and you're like, well, this sucks.
We played it on the tennis courts at Boston Common, so it was like borderline indoor soccer.
Yeah, just not big enough. You need a big field.
Yeah, it's very true. Okay, this will do it for the Pat's Chat podcast. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review, prize picks, use code CLNS. Get a great deal there, and do better than us on that. And otherwise, we will see you this week to start talking about that Patriots-Ravens game, and we'll have a little bit more nonsense thrown in.
I'll watch the game too. I'll watch Ravens-Bengals. That's my homework for the week.
All right. That's your homework. You're going to do it. Goodbye.